What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday. Welcome to this edition of The Brawl, March 26, 1997. I am Miguel Mike Medina. This is my guy, Jim Berenger. Jim, it's been 26 years since The Brawl.
Man, I can't. It feels like yesterday, to be honest. Watching all these documentaries, including the newest one, Unrivaled. We're just talking about it. Darren McCarty, Claude Lemieux, the Patrick Waugh. Everybody just getting into the brawl in Detroit. Stems from the playoffs the year before, goes back. I mean, you want to talk about rivalries in hockey. Detroit, Colorado, one of the best rivalries from 96 to about 02.
Without a doubt. And when we first met, one of the first things I told you is that my definition of a rivalry is not just two teams hating and disliking each other, but the fact that both teams during that stretch, 96 through 2002, they combined for 5 Stanley Cups. So that's, if you want to talk about the perfect rivalry, that one is it, because you have both teams physically fighting, literally hating each other, on and off the field, on and off the ice, and they won championships on top of that. And they had to go through one another in order to win the Stanley Cup. That's the perfect rivalry right there in all sports. It sucks like if it's just one team winning all the time, but when it's a rivalry between two teams that, they get even with each other, it's just perfect. So I saw the documentary once again yesterday on Rival. Like I said, I've seen so many hockey documentaries, but that one is like a top 5 in my list. Top 5, without a doubt.
Oh, absolutely. A hands down top 5. And like you said, these two teams, you go back to 96, Detroit had the best record, most points. They come off the loss to New Jersey in 95. They're looking to get back. Colorado, they moved from Quebec. And what do you know? These two teams are going to face off in a conference final. Claude Lemieux's hit, Chris Draper kind of set the tone for what was to come. McCarty was itching to get on Claude Lemieux once they get back to Detroit. The next year, oh, man, it was look out. And McCarty wanted Lemieux. Everybody wanted Lemieux, as they said in Unrivaled. And, you got the goalies going at it. You had Shanahan. You had all these – everybody was going after it. And, oh, by the way, these teams a few months later are going to meet in the conference final again to determine who's going to the Stanley Cup final. Just unbelievable, just what these two teams did.
Darren McCarty is the ultimate true teammate. That's the guy you want on your side. And he said it, he's wired that way. He's not one to start, but he's the one that'll stick up for his teammates. And obviously him and Chris Draper, they have a great bond on the ice and off the ice. But what's interesting is that, in my opinion, the rivalry started, it doesn't get too much credit, but the rivalry started when Kozlov did that hit on Adam Foote. I feel like it started there, but it got real, like super real, with the Chris Draper hit. So,
oh yeah, I agree with that 100%. Yeah, the hit by Kozlov on Foote that didn't get called. Foote's all mad, so Lemieux hits Draper, and then Draper's out for a while because he's just get all messed up in the head. And I was definitely, at that time, even then, it probably should have been a penalty. It definitely should have been a suspendable hit for what Lemieux did. I will say, Claude Lemieux is one of those guys when you're playing against him, you don't want to play against him. But if he's on your team, you want him on your team. And you knew Detroit was looking for some revenge. Oh, by the way, they were getting beat pretty bad in this game too. And they come back and win in overtime, which really shifted their season.
that's one thing that gets overlooked. Yes, it's known as the Brawl, but it turned out to be an amazing game because the Red Wings won 6-5 in overtime. And March 26, man, 97 on ESPN, Gary Thorne calling it. And the thing is that everyone knew it was about to come. you had security, you had people sending death threats. Like it was serious because not only you had team against team, but you had fans against fans, radio station against radio station. Like, oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. But we will never, I won't say never, but it's gonna be very rare to find a rivalry like that again. Because obviously hockey has evolved, so many changes has been made throughout the years. I feel that a rivalry that I would love to see, but I don't think we'll get it. It's between the Lightning and Maple Leafs. I feel that after last year's playoffs, that's the one rivalry that I wish it could be close enough to the Red Wings and Avalanche because both teams are good. A lot of talent.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. I mean, I think we also could throw Tampa and Boston into that mix too because of what we saw to start the game on Saturday. You know, we got a brawl right off the drop of the puck. But I agree, man. You go back to 1997, that game. Mike Vernon, Patrick Watt throwing hands. We almost had another goalie fight this year as well. They're throwing hands. McCarty's throwing hands. Shanahan, everybody wants in. Then you got Lemieux on the ground turtling, and by the way, Darren McCarty scores the overtime winner. Like again, the game was great, but everybody knew that this game was coming. It was the first time Claude Lemieux's been back to Detroit since everything, and you knew something special was going to happen that night. You didn't think it was going to be this, but you knew when these two teams played, magic happened, and hopefully we can get rivalries like this going forward.
I'm just gonna end it with this. It's sad with what happened to Vladimir Konstantinov. He was he was a tremendous defenseman for that team.
Yeah, I mean, Vladdy Konstantinov, what happened in June of '97 after they win the Stanley Cup, the car accident. Just a shame what happened to him because they win it, they go back to back, they win it for Vladdy, but his life's never been the same since that accident. And since all those Russians came over, the Russian Five, that machine that they had going, that line, man, the impact that he made on that team, in his NHL career was just getting going too. And it's just a shame it got cut short because, he probably could have won a Norris Trophy. I mean, he was just a big, bad, bruising, physical defenseman. And it's a shame what happened. Glad he's living his life now, but he's just not, he never could play hockey again. But what happened later on in '98 when they win the cup, he's out there, they give him the cup, they get to skate around. It's just a shame that his career had to end that way.